Well, hello everyone, I'm Brandon Bonifer, and you are on Focus. As you've been watching our coverage the last few days here, we continue to cover what's taking place here in Marshfield in our great state of Wisconsin. Recently, we had talked to a number of restaurant owners about what they're doing, changing their work process, and we're here today with Chief of Police of Marshfield, Rick Grams, to talk a little bit about what they're doing to maybe step up patrol and help out the businesses and the residents of our great city of Marshfield. Rick, first off, let's start with yesterday. Tony Evers put out an announcement that he'd be restricting access to bars and restaurants. What was your guys' reaction to that?
We realized at that point, it's again, this is a matter of taking steps and just increasing awareness and intensity and safety, actually. And we realized this was just the next logical step. Anytime when you have large congregates of people in a small area, such as a bar or restaurant, and with how COVID-19 is passed and airborne, it does make sense to limit the amounts of large groups and events that are happening. So we weren't surprised by this at all.
Now, a number of the restaurants were able to get this information from press release information, social media. Was there any restaurants or bars that you guys had to physically contact to ensure that they were made aware of the news?
None that we had to contact. We went out kind of as a community service just to make sure that everyone was aware of this. Everybody happened to be aware of it. I don't know if they had a calling tree or if there's a way that the information was effectively and efficiently disseminated, but ultimately they were all aware of it. They're all taking the proper steps and precautions with notifying their people, both customers and employees, as to the necessity of closing, and we didn't have any problems with any of them following those rules that Governor Evers put out.
Now, we also see a number of businesses in our area that are kind of reducing or restricting their hours or restricting their access to their lobbies or spaces. Have you guys stepped up patrol or done anything extra just to make sure that those businesses that are closing early have a little extra protection?
Yeah, we're watching each of those when we learn of them. We're keeping an eye on those businesses. We're making our normal routine patrols around the community, around the business districts and the commercial areas. So yeah, we're definitely taking those precautions, and we actually enforced a couple of precautions here within our lobby as well.
Now, have you guys seen any change in your call patterns or what kind of calls are coming in to your guys' office?
We haven't seen an uptick in calls for service as of yet. Things are weird right now. I mean, it's kind of an eerie weird where you can drive around and businesses look abandoned or desolate, but yet there's still some activities going on. You still see some cars driving around, but yeah, it's weird. I mean, it's kind of unprecedented regarding this type of activity or lack of activity during the week in a community such as ours.
Now, we've seen multiple reports of that. Our public safety team here in Marshfield is at the ready. Have you had conversations with other people in the departments here? It'd be police and fire. Are you guys open for communication? You've been discussing your guys' strategy moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely had communications going with all city leaders, but also we've included some community leaders in that as well. We've had routine meetings, trying to keep each other up to date as to changes. I mean, things change by the hour. I mean, it's not even by the day anymore. So we're definitely sharing that information out with different staff, different community departments, and we're just trying to not take steps backwards when it comes to communicating, because once we start losing that communication breakdown, we start making inefficient use of our time, inefficient use of other community time.
In addition to communication here in Marshfield, what about at the county, state, or federal level? Have you guys had guidance or communication from the CDC or health departments?
Yeah, we've been communicating, we've been reading a lot of communications that have been coming out both on state and federal level. We had a conference call or a video conference with Wood County Health Department and Wood County Emergency Management yesterday. We're going to have meetings with them, virtual meetings with them, probably I think 2 to 3 times a week. We're also going to try to keep the local meetings going 2 to 3 times a week as well, just to keep everybody updated. But email's been inundated. It's been very difficult to keep up with the email and the mass of responses at both federal state and local professionals are making just to get that communication out and about. And then I turn around and I decide what needs to be sent out within my organization here and what doesn't. And just, it's been busy. It's been definitely busy.
And as you move forward through this, how do you plan to distribute communication to the community? Still using social media, any new avenues?
Yeah, the big thing is social media. And again, just being a resource for those calls or emails that might come in, but ultimately just with disseminating and pushing information out. I think social media is still the best. We don't want to flood it and start having people overlook messages we're pushing out. We don't want there to be too much duplication, so we're trying to be very, attentive to what other agencies and other groups regionally or locally are putting out. So trying to minimize that duplication, but yet we also know that we have a fairly large following. So it's trying to balance what we share out that's pressing and what we choose to just let spread around based on other organizations or other pages pushing it out.
Well, thank you, Rip Gramsa. Guys, as we continue to do our coverage here in Marshfield, and again, I want to make the mention as we asked before, we are one community. We're going to take each day with a step, and we're going to make sure we move forward prosperously. But I'm asking each of you, contribute to your local community, make sure those businesses are getting the support that they need. You are staying healthy and safe. I'm Brandon Boniford on Focus. Until we see each other again, stay tuned.